Well, hello and good evening to you. I am Dr. Carla, and I am so excited that you are here on tonight. I just hear an echo in the background, so I'm going to take care of that, which is done. And so I just thank you for being in the space. You can go right ahead, like, tag, and share because you are absolutely going to want to not only enjoy this conversation yourself, but to have those that you love, those that you care about to also participate. We are talking about breaking the cycle of brokenness on tonight. And so this is really an opportunity for us to go inward, a chance for us to really just get honest with ourselves and have some clarity and make this declaration that we are going to heal. You know, what I say is that the best version of who we are is on the other side of healing. And so on tonight, I have an amazing, incredible guest that I am going to bring to the virtual stage, my friend, my partner, Mr. Elston Montfort. Hello, Mr. Montfort. Welcome to Heal People, and this virtual Women's Mental Wellness Summit this evening.
Hello, Dr. Carla. Glad to be with you tonight. I'm excited. And this is a great topic. But not only is it a great topic, this is a great assignment. And I look forward to assisting you and helping so many people. And yes, breaking that cycle of brokenness.
You know, I'm excited that you and I are here together. And I was just thinking about the fact that this is really a public conversation, but you and I have had many private conversations about this subject matter, about brokenness. And I was thinking, wow, the people may be wondering, like, how did the two of us come together? You know, what makes us uniquely positioned to really discuss this topic? And so I would love if you just take a little bit of time and just introduce yourself to the people. Just say a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm Elston Montfort from Atlanta, Georgia, founder and president of Elston Speaks Worldwide. And one of the things I enjoy doing is mentoring and engaging and networking. You know, one of my assignments is actually helping transform men through mentorship, engagement, and networking. And what I found is in doing working my assignment, there's so many people that needed that mentorship, but I had to actually engage with them. And we began to network like we're networking right now. But one of the common denominators I actually found in mentoring so many people, especially young men, I actually went over to the young ladies and started mentoring young ladies as well, and found out that one of the common denominators is that there was a brokenness when dealing with fathers, and they had issues saying, well, I didn't have that relationship with my father, or wasn't able to engage with my father, or I really would love to have actually heard from my father, or having learned some lessons from my father. And so when we find that, we found some other different patterns that kind of mimic or that went along with that. And it was actually me sharing some of those things with you, Dr. Carter, to find answers. You know, one of the things about being a leader is we look for solutions, and we're looking for answers, just like other people are. And when we began to engage, we found out that it wasn't just one particular space. It wasn't one demographic, but it was spread over. It was common. So when we found that it was common, we began to actually go deep and say, okay, how can we actually get to a solution to actually help people break it and overcome?
You know, one of the things I love about you, there's so many different things. Your background, your passion for people, your passion for fatherhood, to really help grow people up and mature and become all that they are destined to be. That's really one of the things that we connected around because we share like that similar passion. And as you were talking a little bit about some of the things you began to see in your coaching, we're going to double back and we're going to really begin to drill down more on what we kind of were both seeing as we were working in different spaces, but seeing many of the same things. Um, I want to share a little bit about my background as well, as we were talking about, us being uniquely the ones. We are your
Mm.
people. We are the ones that we understand that we are on assignment and that we are here to change lives, and we are excited about it. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about my own background. And really, what I would say is like, this is my life's work.
Mm.
From a very early age, I was always interested in what I will say, the problem of pain, always interested in human suffering, always interested in trying to understand how do people work, what is behavior. And so from this young age, it really set me on this trajectory of beginning this academic journey, this deep study. And through my studies, I received an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctoral degree, all in counseling. But I did not just stop with, the formal education and the degrees, because I just had, a passion for learning and understanding more and really wanting to help people to heal. I've done a number of different certifications. I'm certified in an approach, it's an evidence-based trauma-informed approach, and it's called EMDR. And so I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort, really making sure I had the background, the knowledge, the know how to really navigate the space of trauma. And so I describe myself in the field of psychology as a research practitioner,
Mm.
as a scientist. I've worked in a lot of different settings, but a couple of things that I will lift up in my background is I was an assistant commissioner for the state of New Jersey around the child welfare reform efforts. After that, I opened a prominent counseling center, Sanctuary of Hope and Healing, where we service children, adolescents, and adults. And I continue to work in the space of psychology in addition to some of the coaching that I'm doing. But in the field of psychology, I am an expert witness. I serve in legal matters around personal injury cases. And so I really do a comprehensive assessment around trauma, really understanding how trauma has impacted people's lives, understanding how it has shaped them, looking at the impact that it has had on them short term and how it will continue to affect them into the future. And then I testify to that in court. And I love that work. It's a deep work. It's a important work. Many of the cases that I work around involve sexual abuse. It involves institutional type of abuse matters. So when it comes to really understanding brokenness, I have a very unique perspective. And as I said before, a lifetime of work. It is my life passion. And I am in the coaching space as well. I am the founder of the Heal People
Mhm.
movement. And essentially, it's about intergenerational healing. It's about us getting free. It's about us living fully and operating fully in our passion. So that was a long introduction to who I am. Look, Gina said, Dr. Carla is legit. Yeah. So, yeah, I've done one or two things, and I really wanted to share it because I really want people to understand as you and I come together, we're not new to this, we're true to this.
That's right. That's right.
And we are going to have a number of opportunities for men, for women, for young adult men and women going forward. And so people get to hear just a little bit about what we bring to the table. So, now brokenness. Listen, we have talked a lot about brokenness, and let's just define what is it. You know, when we really think about brokenness and we think about the definition of it, really, brokenness is about something that is damaged, something that is not working properly, something that is shattered, something that has been torn apart. Um, Brokenness is just about being crushed, being bankrupt. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can describe brokenness. And I'm thinking, as I talk about that, Elson, what comes to mind for you when you think about this subject of brokenness?
Unfortunately, when we look at just being in the laboratory of life, and that's mainly where a lot of my credentials come from, just being in that living laboratory, meaning being out in the field with people. One of the things that unfortunately I find is that there's brokenness, but there's no awareness of it.
Mm.
And when I say that, it's just like somebody can have a illness or a sickness. For example, if somebody had diabetes, okay, but you never knew that you had diabetes. You may have the symptoms, but you may not even know what it is. You may say, okay, I'm making multiple trips to the bathroom, or I'm having certain cravings, or I'm just not feeling well. Those are symptoms, but it's not until you actually go into your physician that you're able to get a diagnosis, and then the physician says, well, this is what you have diabetes. And so that's your first entry to awareness. But unfortunately, sometimes even in that natural health, we go into denial. Oh, that couldn't be me. That couldn't be me. I've been doing well all my life. That couldn't be me. Well, the same thing actually happens in brokenness. Okay,
Mm.
there are symptoms, but you're unaware of what's really going on. And you start repeating cycles, but you don't know, it's like, why do I keep going from job to job, or from relationship to relationship? Why am I down? Why am I hurt? Or I'm succeeding in this area, but I can't get over to the next area. Those are symptoms. And then when you look at when you're doing those symptoms, you say, okay, I'm going through some symptoms, but I'm unaware of what's really going on. I haven't been clearly diagnosed of what's really happening. And so when you haven't been made aware of it, when there is no awareness, what happens is you keep repeating the same thing over and over. Then what happens? You get frustrated. So when as a mentoring, at first, I present myself as a mentor, but then when I begin to engage, and when that engagement seems like I really begin to listen to what my students are saying. What are you really saying? Where do you really want to be? What are you really struggling with? And then there's those symptoms, and it's not that it's something that was actually present in front of you right now. It actually goes back a little bit. It started with what you heard before, or what you experienced before, and it becomes like a second nature. You don't even know it's there, but it's breaking you. It's a brokenness, and sometimes you just get frustrated for no reason, or you feel like you can't achieve. So when I hear the word brokenness, yeah, it is a broken cycle, but I say, well, are you even aware?
Are you
Are you even
even
aware?
aware? Woo! Elsa, you have said a whole lot. You have said a whole mouthful. I want to double back and drill down on a couple of things that you have said, but we have a lot of people who are chiming in. And so can I take a minute and shout out to those of you that are on? Katrina, I believe it is. Hello, Lauren, Gina, Nicole, Mona Lisa. I have seen you. I am over here up on Instagram. And so I have been neglecting Instagram, but you guys have been listening in. And so I do see you. I acknowledge you. And we're talking about breaking the cycle of brokenness. And so, wow. Okay. So Gina said, Elston is legit. He is legit as well. Listen, we have Rochelle on, and she's saying, good evening to you, Valerie. Good evening to you, Gina. Hello to everyone. And listen, keep on making comments, ask your questions, keep sharing, keep liking, keep tagging, right? Heals people, heal people. We don't want to only be the ones that get free. We want those that we care about. And look, hey, we even want our enemies. We want them to get free too, because when they heal, when they grow up, they're going to get better. They're going to do
That's
better.
right.
And Alicia, hey, good evening. I'm so glad that you are on. So, my goodness, you said so many different things. When you were talking about diabetes, what it really made me think about and what you were saying is that so often what's happening is that we are functioning, right? We're
Mm,
functional. We look good. We're showing up to work. We're doing what we need to do in our day to day because that's what we do. Um, Yet there are parts of us, and that can be in different degrees um, and at different times, but really still parts of us that are broken.
right.
And I think this is important to acknowledge. This is what you were suggesting, that it's important for us to take a look at and just to have the honesty with ourselves that there's still room for us to heal. There's still room for us to grow. There's still room for us to take care of the things that nobody sees, the things that we don't
Mm,
talk about, right? The times when we're,
mm,
nighttime comes, everything is quiet, and that's when we begin to recall the things that happen. That's when our mind is going, that's when the rumination, right, starts to kick in. And so sometimes it's really acknowledging the fact that we can be functioning, we can be showing up, we can be doing all the right things, we can be powerful in our public presentation, and yet be broken. And, as you talked about the diabetes, the fact that for many people, they don't even realize they have diabetes until it gets to an emergency level, right?
mm.
Until their body is totally broken down and they have to go, to the doctor, and they go to the doctor, they don't even really know what's going on. They're just like, I'm not myself. I fainted. When I eat certain things, I'm having issues with different foods. I'm lightheaded, I'm dizzy, right? Or they're having all of these symptoms, but they're still going to work. They're still putting on makeup. People are still saying to them, you look good, right? But they still have to take care of this part that is broken. And it's true for us as well. That as I'm saying, basically I'm saying is that we could be showing up but still need to take care of brokenness. And I start to think about like broken bones, right? Let's say I'm right-handed. So let's say I broke my left hand. Like I'm still able to write, I may not seem as compromised, but I'm going to have to start overcompensating because I'm not fully functional. I can't use both of my hands. And I think this is when we begin to talk about the brokenness, what we're saying is that, yeah, we're still operating, but we're not fully functioning. We're compromising. And so we want to begin to take care of those things in the background. So I loved, Elsa, when you use that metaphor of the diabetes. And I think it really helps people to understand, yes, we're functioning, but we're compensating. We're functioning, but there's still parts of us that are struggling. We're still having a hard time. Denise said we tend to ignore the signs and the symptoms. So
And that's
let me
that
pause as I said all of that and just let you jump in because I know I see
right.
where.
And that's a great comment that Donna's just used, but it also goes back to something that you just said, the things nobody sees. Okay,
Mhm.
because those are it's the things that nobody sees where we actually hide. We hide the brokenness even when we're unaware of it, even when we're in denial. But that's our hiding place. But here's what's also interesting is that how that brokenness is displayed. It's like many people see it, but they see it through when
Mm,
we make comments like "I can't forgive."
mm.
I can't forgive. See, forgiveness is very powerful, but unforgiveness holds us back more than anything. But see, that unforgiveness is also a symptom of there was a brokenness somewhere that you had, but you just don't know how to overcome it. You don't know how to release. And these are some of the things that we really want to actually teach people. I love working with a lot of young adults. I've worked with teens for many years, and whether I'm working with teenagers or young adults, and when I say young adults, those that are between the ages of 19 and 20, 19 and 30, when I find out, some of the things that's really challenging them, it's the things that they've hid and cried about or pondered about, and it was just frustrated about. And then here's another thing. Those One of the greatest symptoms is when you may say a word to someone and it's a trigger word, but you don't realize what you just said. You just made a comment, but a trigger word just causes them to explode. Is whatever it was that was hiding on the inside, when you spoke that trigger, it just unleashed and made them go back to when that bitterness happened, when that brokenness happened, when somebody left them, when somebody hurt them. When it's not just when somebody made them cry, but when somebody actually made a great damage, created a great damage. And so those are the things that nobody sees. So, Dr. Carlo, one of the things that you spoke about is wanting to actually do a webinar to where you actually go deeper and actually saying how do we actually discover, and get over that denial. How do we actually become aware? I think you're doing a webinar sometime in the end of the month.
Absolutely. Actually, you are going to be there in the house with me.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I see the people want you. I see Denise is saying talk. Mona Lisa is thanking you because she said, and I think this is so critical, and I'm coming to the webinar, y'all. As a matter of fact, I already dropped the link in the comments so that you could go ahead and begin the registration process for that. But I want to share and give you this feedback. Mona Lisa talked about the fact that she had been numb to a lot of the things that you talked about, and she used her career to avoid facing truths about her broken marriage. And so, yeah, we use our career, we use the church, we use our children, we use our shopping. We use so many different things, relationships, to cover and to not acknowledge or to even deal with the brokenness, right? But we're not really dealing with it. And at the end of the day, then it's there. The brokenness is there. But coming back to this webinar, Elson and I, we want this to be the first of many conversations. Our goal is to break break down, tear apart, destroy, dismantle the cycles of brokenness, the cycles, Elson, that you were talking about, that we keep finding ourselves in, going in circles. I'm hearing that song in my head, circles, going around and around in circles. We don't want to go in circles anymore. And the other reality is that, we have things to do, people to see, places to go, purpose on the inside of us that we want to really be able to fully operate in. And so with this webinar, which is going to be a Thursday, July 27th at 7 p.m., the registration is in the comments. We're going to be, again, dealing with breaking the cycle of brokenness, but we're doing a deeper dive. This is a webinar. We want you to invite your friends. We're starting with young women between the ages of 19 and 32. So listen, for those of us that are mature in age, you want your daughter, you want your niece, you want your grandchild, you want, your friends, if you are of age, you want them to be on this webinar. And let me just say, we're going to have something for young men. We're going to have something
That's
for
right.
women and for men, but we are launching out with young adult women. And so again, we look forward to seeing you there on that webinar. Any thoughts about the webinar?
Absolutely. Some people may be wondering, well, why those ages? Well, here's the thing. And again, Dr. Carla, just like you said, we're not neglecting the men. We're not neglecting the young men. We're not neglecting the older seasoned men. We're not neglecting the older seasoned women. No, no, no. We just had to have a starting point. So why did we start here? You see, when we think about the word, one of the words that we use, cycle. Okay. Another word that we can actually use is also patterns. Okay. You see, there are patterns that are displayed when you actually talk about brokenness, and they show up. They show up in various relationships. Okay, they show up in our work. They show up in the way we speak. They show up in, here's a good one. They show up in our decision making.
Mm.
Okay, so we wonder sometimes why are some of our younger people, because we say that our young people should be our leaders, but to teach them how to break some of the patterns, and we get to them early. We want to train the seed. Now, unfortunately, some of the patterns and some of the cycles that they've been into and some of the patterns that they learn, unfortunately, they actually learn from those that were raising them. Like parents, grandparents, uncles. I know we don't want to admit that, but yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. Who was influencing them. So sometimes you have to say, okay, well, look at this, because with that, you say, are you going to repeat this cycle again, or are you going to repeat the same pattern? And see, that's what part of the awareness comes in. And here's the thing: when we help you become aware of it, you can't deny it, and hopefully you don't want to deny it. But there are some things that they want to achieve. And they say, well, how can we do it? Well, first, we got to bring that awareness, like I said before, not to be redundant, but yes, I do. Because I want to say that we have to make you aware of it, and it help you graduate from that denial state into, I want to do something about it. And when you come into the point when you say, I want to do something about it, change begins to happen. How do I know? I'm very honored that I have about 8 goddaughters, and I love them. But when they started, we found some common patterns, and those patterns, they were not good. Found some cycles, but I love them dearly. I call them queens. Why? Because I had to change their name. They didn't see themselves as queens. They didn't see themselves as royalty. They didn't see themselves as being unique. But as I began to engage with them, guess what happened? They began to accept who they really are. They begin to accept a new pattern. They begin to do things differently. Their speech changed, their walk changed, their identity changed, their results changed. And then they began to see their results change, and they began to get results that they wanted, not just results that society said that they could have. No, they began to design the life that they wanted to live versus just taking something that was given. So again, what we did, we actually helped break a cycle, and we're still breaking it. It didn't happen overnight. It does take time. That's very important. It does take time. It is a process, but at least we're changing patterns. We're actually being able to do a work and help them maneuver, go from one stage to another, and it's good.
I love the work that you're doing. We've talked a lot about the work. You have introduced me to your queens, and they truly are queens. And as you were talking about the importance of this age group, I thought about a couple of things myself. I thought about, as a psychologist, one of the things I talk about all the time is that I am proud that I have sat on both sides of the couch. I've sat as the healer, and I've sat as the person who has needed the help. And a lot of the patterns that you talk about, and this is some of the things we're going to really be getting into in the webinar, really beginning to drill down on those patterns, and so many patterns that I have seen. And I think, we don't have the time tonight, but sign up, register. The link is in the comments. But very often, what the patterns are repeated, right? Well, that is what a pattern is something that is repeated, is something that is interfering in life. And it looks like our decision making, like you said, it looks like our judgment, it looks like the relationships that we enter into, it looks like not showing up for ourselves,
Right.
it looks
Right.
like what we do and what we don't do. But I thought about the other thing, and the other reason I'm so excited about this is, and you and I have talked about this, is I relate to this subject of brokenness.
Mm.
In many ways, I have lived that life. I have lived a life of brokenness, so I understand it uniquely. I understand it from the perspective of living it, and I understand it from the perspective of dealing with it in the professional realm. And I think when individuals come and they work with the two of us, they are getting the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
I think about
Absolutely.
you and I, I'm mom or I'm auntie, you're dad, you're the uncle, we're the friends. We are the individuals, the mentors, the coaches with the life experience, the lived experience, but also with the know-how and the knowledge to really help people break these cycles. So we are both, I'm speaking for you,
That's right. That's right.
because we talked about it offline, how excited we are about this webinar. So definitely sign up, send it out, get your nieces, get your granddaughters, get your children, get your friends to sign up. And this is going to be an amazing time. We're going to hear some amazing testimonies. I just believe it. I know it to be true. We sense it, right? We sense
Right.
the significance of the work that we are doing.
Well, you know something else, Dr. Carla. One of the things I really appreciate about both of us is that we we're willing to be vulnerable. In other words, we're telling you the truth. You see, we know what it's like to have lived through brokenness ourselves. And if anybody would tell you that they've never lived through any brokenness at all, run from them. Okay. If their life was just that perfect, okay, well, maybe you're not qualified to actually be in this session. Well, because we say heal people. See, I had to first go through it and be healed myself to actually tell you that's which is a part of mentorship. See, if I hadn't been there, I can't tell you how to overcome it. But because I've been there, I know what it's like to not be to be functioning, but not be happy. Okay. I know what it's like to go to that room and just sit by yourself and say, I wish I could be approved by someone or be accepted. We go through that acceptance stage. But see, when we overcome that and we say, you know what, I'm happy who I am. Are you really happy with who you are? Are you happy with the decisions that you make? Are you happy with, with how you're living your life? Are you able to really design the life that you really want? See, I can say that I am. I haven't always been there. I haven't always been there. And really, I haven't had a bad life, but I have had some points where I was bitter and I was broken. See, I know what it's like to lose a father at an early age. I lost my father at the age of 12. And even though I had uncles, I had first cousins that really mentored me. I had a grandfather that became my legal guardian. There was still an emptiness because I didn't know how others would receive me because there was that void. But I also know what it's like to have helped so many other young men that have had a loss of a father. Those even whether it be male or female, to be able to help them through or talk them through. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to overcome, but I also know what it's like to be in proxy. Okay, to actually stand in and say, look, if you didn't have one, I'll be there for you, so I can guide you through. And so that's really one of the huge pieces of expertise that we actually have. Not just we may have been on the couch, but we didn't stay there. That's the key. We didn't stay there. We got up.
Yes.
We got up. We got up with a stronger identity, with a new purpose. And that's what we want to share with you. We want to teach you how to do the same. And I want to share with all those that are signing up right now. It's important to sign up because here's the thing. Your future is not based on where you are now. No. We're here to help you become who you've been called to be. You know, your past is not equal your future. You know, you've heard that before. And if you haven't, listen to it again. Your past is not equal your future. And at this point, we're going to give you the tools. We're going to give you the know-how. We're going to help you set some new patterns so you can actually design the life that you were meant to live. And once you design it for yourself, we want you to go out and duplicate it. Again, heal people, heal people. So you're a leader. There's a leader in you. So you go out and help someone else. They're waiting for you.
You know, the people are loving this. They are chiming in. I'm so thankful and grateful. Just as we were talking, I saw, Grace, I saw Mona Lisa, I saw a number of you that, just were saying thank you for the transparency. And this is what we are going to bring. We're not sitting back as, just the professionals who have all of the answers. Yes, we have that lens, we have that perspective, but we have a lived experience that we were able to navigate, to go through, and it wasn't always pretty. But we're on the other side as seasoned saints, right? Which is a lot of the reason why, we really want to start with the young adults, that they don't have to make the same mistakes that we made. They can benefit from the wisdom that we have.
That's right.
The things that we are going to share. And I love, the fact that you and I are on the same page in terms of the fact that one of our passions is about purpose. That in order for you to fulfill your purpose, to walk in your greatness, it's going to be important for you to really deal with the things that may be holding you back.
Right.
To deal with the procrastination, to deal with being easily offended, to deal with the unforgiveness, to deal with the patterns, to deal with the hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
The unresolved hurt, to deal with the disappointments. There's so much in life that we have to deal with, right? That we have been left with, but we don't have to live this as our legacy. We can turn this around and leave a legacy of intergenerational healing. That is absolutely what we are doing. And my goodness, the people are continuing to comment, really, opening themselves, being vulnerable yourselves. We appreciate that. We thank you. We thank you for sharing with us, for being here. And this is not the end. You are ours and we are yours.
Right.
And so we're going to be journeying together. So you're going to want to stay plugged in. You're going to want to stay tuned as we continue to unfold and unveil some of the things we're going to be doing. The first of it, which is the webinar on July 27th. Wow.
Hey, Dr. Carla,
Yeah, go ahead.
I know we're getting close to our wrap up time, but you said one powerful thing that I want to say, and you use the word intergenerational. Intergenerational, and I want to say to our first group, listen. What if you knew? What if you knew that the child that you have, whether you have one now or the one that you have in the next 3 to 5 years, what if you knew that you could change the pattern of that one and help them create a totally different scenery than what you grew up with? Place them in a totally different environment. Help them overcome or surpass or have them in brand new patterns that you wished you had earlier. See, if you learn some things now through where we are, guess what? Now it makes an impact on your children. Now it makes an impact on your future grandchildren. It makes an impact on your nieces. Right? So it doesn't, see, sometimes we think about, well, how can I just get it for myself? But if we only knew it wasn't just from us. You see, we carry seeds in our words, in our habits, in the things that we do. And just think, we're dropping those seeds into other people especially those who we say we love. You know, I'm not a grandfather right now, but one day I will be. But I'm practicing now to say, I want to make sure that my words are intact. So when I place those words, which those words will be seeds, I place good words into them. But I
Mm.
get a chance to practice with my sons and build them up now so I can tell them, hey, say this to your children. So it is intergenerational because it starts here. You know, if I didn't like what I had in the past, chop that tree down and let's start a new one. But I go back to what I said earlier. It starts with that awareness. I don't deny it. It starts with knowing that I healed from past hurts. Now I can push them on. Now I can have many great things to say, put in my sons, which they can put in their children, which that'll be my grandchildren, and from then on to my great grandchildren, and so forth. So now, what may have seemed to be a dim family tree is now very bright, and we don't have to hide as much. We get a chance to display some greatness. We get a chance to display some great habits. We get a chance to display some great leadership. We get a chance to make great impacts and have results that we appreciate and we love, that we're proud of. And we say, hey, listen, this is what my life displayed. So it
Yeah,
does start.
you
It does
know,
start.
my goodness. I mean, we could go on and on. I just have to say, we talk a lot about intergenerational trauma, and it's necessary. It's a necessary conversation, and it is true. And it speaks to the fact that, from our ancestors and what our ancestors lived, it trickled down to us, right? We're wired, it's in the wiring of who we are. But it also suggests if intergenerational trauma can be passed down,
Ugh.
so too can intergenerational healing. I saw someone who had said this is a divine moment for them that they are on. So many people are saying intergenerational healing. I see Judy Ann said we carry the seeds. That's one of her takeaways. Somebody's inviting me onto another live with you. This is someone, one somebody or one of your people. I see someone saying they're registering, and so this is resonating. And that comment that someone said about the divine moment, it is sticking with me because it's something that you and I know to be true as well. That this what we are doing is something that has been given to us, that we have been prepared for a time such as this moment, this time, you and I together to change the trajectory of lives so that people will go on to change the trajectory of other people's lives. I said this earlier. We're not new to this. We are true to this. We are excited about this. We are passionate about this. We have expectation for this. And we know that there are going to be the cycles are going to be dismantled. They're going to be pulled apart. They're going to be crushed. My goodness, I can't wait to hear the testimonies. Listen, I see you guys in the future and you look better. Oh, so better. So listen, I know we have to go. Is it okay if I call some? Well, I'm going to look through. As I'm looking through, maybe you can just make some final comments, and then I'll end just by calling some names and I'm pointing out what some of the people are saying. Hey, link Instagram. Hey.
Well, I want to just piggyback on what Dr. Carla said. And first of all, I want to thank all of you just for joining us tonight. You could have done so many other things, but you made that time to be here with us, not just to listen to us, but to actively take part of Heal People, Heal People. And yes, I want you to go ahead and register. Why? Because you have something to look forward to. You have something to look forward to, like change, a new generation, new habits, new decision making, just a better life. Just knowing that you were created to win. And when you know that you're created to win, you can actually start expecting to have some winning situations show up in your life on a continual basis. Invite your daughters, invite your nieces, you know what? We're coming even again. It don't won't be long. We'll have your nephews, your dads, your uncles, and grandpa too. All
Mm,
right. All right. Because we're coming after the entire family because it actually starts right there. If we get the family right, we can get the community right. Get the community right, we can get the municipality right. So yes, all of it is intergenerational, but it also leads to just a healthy community overall. And that's what we're about. Just like Dr. Carla said, we're not new to this, but yes, we are true to this. This is our life's calling. This is our life passion. This is Elston Mumford, and I want you to go ahead and again register for our upcoming webinar. You know, it won't just be a sitting down just talking, but we have some solutions and some good know-hows that we're going to teach you how to break patterns, start new ones, and we're going to have some hands-on training. So you definitely want to be a part of that. Back to you, Dr. Carla.
Elston, thank you so much. Thank you for partnering with me in this effort. It is not by accident that you and I are coming together. We are doing a great work and we're doing it together. And I always say, it can't be the fullness of what it is and what it will be without you and I sitting at this virtual table and all of the table and spaces that we will sit at. Hey, Instagram, I'm on with Elston Munford here, and I know you have been listening. People are saying such a great conversation, and there's hearts and there's hand claps. So thank you so much for joining. If I started calling names, I'm gonna mess up y'all names. So thank you for joining, Alicia. Make sure you register because you are in the age group. And the link is in the comment section. And then make sure you grab a couple of your friends. Please share this live, tag somebody so that other people can check out the replays. Someone was asking about the age group. So the first webinar is for the age group 19 to 32. Listen, if you want to put your information in, go ahead. And so we can capture your information and we'll come back to you and we'll let you know when we're going to be doing additional webinars. But I want to thank Gina so much for her help in putting the webinar link together, and tonight helping to get out the word, and Grace and Tracy and Nicole, Alicia, Katrina. I know Katrina's not Katrina, but Judy Ann, Mona Lisa, so many others. Tracy, I saw Tracy says she's listening and she hasn't commented. And then there's another Tracy. Deja is on. Raquel is on. Lauren. Each and every one of you, if I did not call your name, know that you are appreciated. You are valued. Know we are coming back, just as Elston said. We are going to sign off for tonight. We've said a lot. We've said a mouthful. And I'm going to just kind of leave it right there. But as I said, we have the expectation of great things, and we want you to be a part of it. And so we say good night for now, for tonight. And we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Elson.
Thank you, Dr. Carla.
Okay, good night.
Good night.